Well, today we are mourning the loss of a true pioneer at NBC6. The man credited with inventing the concept of local TV sports coverage, Bernie Rosen, passed away last night at the age of 93. Rosen started his career at WTVJ in 1949, the year this TV station signed on the air as the first in Florida. He started the first local sports broadcast and over the decades set the standard for sports journalism. Rosen, he did it all. He shot the film, he edited the stories, he interviewed the luminaries of the sports world, and he presented their viewpoints to the South Florida audience. He was a mentor to many, both in sports and in news. And as a sports director of the station, Rosen hired the nation's first female sports reporter back in 1967. He retired from his job here at NBC6 in 2013. Bernie Rosen leaves an unmatched legacy in this community. Our thoughts are with his many friends and family members.
Yeah, big loss for our newsroom here and a big loss for our community. All right, NBC6 is mourning the loss of a true pioneer today. Legendary former NBC6 sports director Bernie Rosen has died at 93. He was a powerhouse in the world of sports, credited with inventing the concept of local TV sports coverage. And our colleague NBC6's Ariadne takes a look at his exceptional life and legacy.
Bernie Rosen is the guy who figured out how sports could fit in with local TV news, the man who invented the concept back in the 1950s.
I did everything within my power to make this thing work.
As sports director, Bernie covered everything in South Florida sports and had a remarkable connection with Muhammad Ali.
We had the most unbelievable relationship with him.
We won 3 good rounds of real brawling.
Bernie mentored a generation of sports broadcasters, including a fixture at WTVJ, Tony Segreto.
Ari, I knew this man for 53 years. I mean, I was 17 years old and he took me under his wing. I mean, I owe everything to him.
And he hired the first female sportscaster, Jane Chastain, in 1967. And current NBC6 sports reporter Ruthie Polinsky feels that legacy today.
He was a pioneer in that hire, and I think early in his career he was a champion of women in an unprecedented way because it had never been done before. So to be the only local female sportscaster in the market in 2020, I think I largely have Bernie Rosen to thank for that.
Bernie Rosen deserves icon status in sports broadcasting. His impact will be felt for years to come. He died at age 93. Ari Odzer, NBC6 News.
A huge loss for us all.
Por otra parte, la televisión deportiva local está de luto. Falleció el destacado exproductor Bernie Rosen a la edad de 93 años. Él comenzó en nuestra cadena hermana NBC como interno en 1949 y fue nombrado director de deportes en 1960. Él se retiró en el 2000.
And today, as you know, we are remembering the life and legacy of longtime WTVJ sports director Bernie Rosen, who passed away last night at the age of 93. Bernie built local sports in the South Florida TV market and was a pioneer in the world of sports television, earning national recognition for his work. Bernie spent more than 6 decades as a part of the NBC6 sports family, covering every single event, big or small. It's very clear that Bernie will be greatly missed. Jackie and Jawan, as I'm sure you've seen on social media throughout the course of the day, you're seeing people reach out from all different TV stations, all different cities, so many different markets, people that have moved on who are sharing their fondest memories of Bernie. And so I'll share mine. When I first got hired in March, I set up a Zoom with Bernie because we were dealing with the pandemic, so we couldn't meet in person. And he was telling me stories about Don Shula and all of these historic figures, like this had happened yesterday. And he was 92 years old telling me these stories, and we were able to keep in touch over the course of the last couple of months. He was always checking in on me, making sure that I was doing okay, that our sports department was doing okay. He showed us that sports matter. So it's really our job to carry on that legacy.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Always a consummate professional. I worked with him for many years, and so knowledgeable about sports and more context than anybody in the business. Knew every single member of the sports industry, and couldn't be a nicer person as well.
And the fact that he was the first to hire a woman in sports, and you're carrying on that legacy, Ruthie. So how does that feel?
Yeah, it's a tremendous honor, Joanne, and I'm so glad you asked me about it. That was something that was revealed to me and explained to me very quickly after I came here, and you guys had just celebrated the 70-year anniversary, and I remember hearing from Jane Chastain, and she was hired in 1967. That was something to hire a woman in local sports that had never been done before. So for me to now be the only female TV sportscaster in this market, I feel tremendous responsibility, and it's a tremendous honor to be able to carry on Bernie's legacy.
Yeah, and what a legacy it will be. We'll always remember him.
Yes, we will. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Ruthie, for that insight. We really appreciate you. We'll be right back.
And the NBC6 family is mourning the loss of a TV pioneer, a man who left an unmatched imprint in the world of sports broadcasting. NBC6 reporter Ari Odzer takes a look back at the life and legacy of Bernie Rosen.
Bernie Rosen is the guy who figured out how sports could fit in with local TV news, the man who invented the concept back in the 1950s.
I did everything within my power to make this thing work.
As sports director, Bernie covered everything in South Florida sports and had a remarkable connection with Muhammad Ali.
We had the most unbelievable relationship with him. We won 3 good rounds of real brawling.
Bernie mentored a generation of sports broadcasters, including a fixture at WTVJ, Tony Segreto.
His work ethic, his sage wisdom, his integrity, unmatched.
And he hired the first female sportscaster, Jane Chastain, in 1967.
He was extremely fair, and so no one ever questioned Bernie's judgment.
Current NBC6 sports reporter Ruthie Polinsky feels that legacy today.
I think early in his career he was a champion of women in an unprecedented way because it had never been done before. So to be the only local female sportscaster in the market in 2020, I think I largely have Bernie Rosen to thank for that.
Ari, I knew this man for 53 years. I was 17 years old and he took me under his wing. I owe everything to him.
He impacted every single person he came into contact with, didn't he?
He treated people with dignity. He treated people with respect.
But as veteran NBC6 sports photographer Ross Noble tells us, Bernie's priority was getting the story.
One time Bernie was interviewing Don Shula after a game, and while he's talking to Shula, some kid comes up alongside Shula and he's making faces and all that stuff. So in mid-sentence, Bernie just whacked him right in the head. And then Shula kind of went, okay, and then finished up his thing like it never happened.
Bernie Rosen Day in the city of Miami.
Bernie Rosen deserves icon status in sports broadcasting. His impact will be felt for years to come. He was 93. Ari Odzer, NBC6 News.
And for those of us who were lucky enough and privileged enough to work with him, we learned so much from this icon. He was tough, as you saw right there, but he was always fair. And I'm just so grateful to have worked with him.
Hey, man, definitely one of the nicest people I've ever met, though. Aside from that little, knock on the top of that kid's head.
So Bernie.
But so Bernie.